Hello and welcome to Goblins of Elderstone. This is a survival colony simulator where you lead a tribe of goblins and you can customize them to your liking to their eventual conquering of the entire land, or at least that's what you're going to try to do at the very least. And you are, of course, going to be attacked by a variety of different enemies. You have elves, dwarves, undead, humans, and so on and so forth that you're going to have to contend with. And if you'd like to check out the game, there is a link in the description. This video is kindly sponsored, and we're going to be attempting to play as best as we can. We have to choose our mythology, as you can see right here. So, in other words, you can create your tribe's origin story, you can choose your pantheon of deities for your tribe, or you can just randomly create your tribe itself without having to select any of this stuff. So first of all, let's begin with our story creation. So we can go in here and we can basically say what kind of alignment do we want to have with our goblin tribe. So you can see here we can be good. You are small, but your hearts are great. We can be neutral. Your ears are keen and your thoughts are agile. Or we can be evil. Your eyes are sharp and your teeth are deadly. Let's be neutral. I think being neutral is pretty decent for us right now. And we can then choose our path. Do we want to follow a path of war? Do we want to follow a path of trade or a path of faith? I think we'll go for a path of trade. I don't really know whether it makes too much difference for me right now because I have just started playing the game. I'm kind of learning a couple more of the intricacies. I've played for a few hours so far, actually, and hopefully I'm going to do okay here. Otherwise, our magic is divine, or is nature, or is arcane. I'm going to go for nature here. And our enemy is either orcs, dwarves, elves, or humans. We're going to be going for humans because I do not like humans. Yes, I do not like humans. We will smash them. We'll smash them very good. Although we are neutral, so maybe they'll accept a peace agreement. Potentially. Something like that. Anyway, there we go. We've selected all of our wonderful choices right there, and now we can create our very own village, and we're going to be calling it Reformia, as you might expect. And you can, of course, now choose your map size as well. This is all randomized too, so I'm literally just going to randomize our map a little bit further. Threat is high. Okay, yeah, probably not going to be doing a high threat map, if at all possible. Alright, how about this? Stone is scarce. That is the only thing that is looking pretty harsh for us right here. Not sure. You know, that's the thing. I don't really mind if the threat is relatively high. I just kind of want something. I want a map that is actually going to give me a significant amount of some kind of material, but I don't want the threat to be high. I'd like a medium threat, but I'd like the other things to be relatively decent, so moderate if I can. Here we go. This is looking to be a pretty perfect one for us right now. So what we can do is we can actually select any of these that we want, as you can see, and then we're going to have to stay on this particular hex, as far as I can tell. Maybe we can expand a little bit later on. Okay, so I'm thinking probably this one. As you can see, stone is plentiful here. This seems pretty nice. Let's continue. There we go. All right, so every single goblin, as you can tell, has a variety of different stats. They have a war stat, they have a trade stat, and they have a faith stat. This determines how effective they are at any particular job. So for example, let's say you want to make one of your goblins a trade master. Well, you're going to have to make it so that the goblin with the highest trade skill is your trade master. That kind of makes sense, right? And the same thing with if you're going to be making a bunch of warrior goblins, well, you probably need them to have pretty decent war skill. And same if you want to do faith-based goblins too. Anyway, we're just going to autofill this because I'm perfectly happy with the game just selecting whatever they want to do, really. And we're going to be calling ourselves Reformian clan. Yeah, I'm very good at naming things. Indeed. Anyway, there are a bunch of different difficulties here as well. As you can see, there is a builder difficulty here. You won't experience diseases, rioting, and enemies will not appear during winter. Summer also lasts 4 years, while winter only 2 years. So in other words, builder is very simple. You're not going to have to worry too much about anything. Peon is generally what you're going to do when you first start playing the game, of course, and you can see here that you're not going to have too much trouble. Enemies are weaker and you'll not experience diseases. Chief is little bit harder, so in other words, it's kind of like hard, and then Elder is basically insane difficulty, and it's going to be pretty difficult, but I'm told that Peon is relatively good for us right now because This game is hard. Just so you know, this game is actually really, really difficult, so you should probably be a little bit careful about what you select, at least initially, until you get a good build order and until you understand some more fundamentals about how the game actually works. Because this is actually quite intricate. Anyway, we need to place our village center. So, placing near berry bushes, rock piles, and trees. So, in other words, we probably want to place it probably around about here. Probably around about here. This seems pretty decent. It's right next to the rocks. That seems quite nice. And you can also pause the game anytime you want with space bar, as you might expect, and then you can literally just do this. So you can create any one of your little village buildings here, your village structures. Then you also have trade structures, faith, and war structures as well. And these all have different uses associated with them. So we're just going to go for the Grand Hall straight away because this houses up to 12 goblins, including the king and the clan chief. Now, the king is primarily used as kind of like an enforcer goblin. So he or she is going to be running around your village and is going to be murdering stuff. So in other words, if an undead invasion starts happening, then your king is going to defend your village. So we're just going to be placing this round about, I'm actually not entirely sure where to place it, to be honest. I guess we'll just place it round about there. That seems like a decent position. And otherwise, apart from that, we want to get some storage up and running as well. So let's just get some storage, probably here, because we want to use this ramp to get up to this this tree here, because this is your primary method of gaining wood. Because you may think, oh yeah, there's some trees here, but this is actually a berry bush right there. This is a tree here as well, so technically we could go and harvest this, but generally I'm going to be focusing my wood cutting on this tree sector over here. That's going to make much more sense, at least in my opinion. Otherwise, we're just going to be getting a crafting hut as well as a woodcutter hut. Let's get the woodcutter to go around about there. That seems pretty decent to me. And we'll get the crafting hut as well, which is going to craft our wonderful tools and so on. Now, every single building that you actually construct, you're going to need to assign a goblin to it. Just so you know. It's going to be pretty important for you to do that. So anyway, let's just do that and we will allow our goblins to go and do whatever they want to do. Hopefully they'll get the Grand Hall built as soon as they can. And then I can show you the next stage of our village's progression and maybe take a look at the map too. Now, bear in mind that you can change the speed of the game as well. So if you want to do that, you can use the buttons 1, 2, or 3. And if you press 3, you're going to get your little goblins going super fast. And they're obviously going to be running around and doing whatever they need to do. Now, every single building you construct, like I mentioned before, you're going to need to assign a goblin that you think is going to do the best job in that role. There's also the ability to birth new goblins as well, and that is the main way that you're going to be seeing an increase in your population. So that's obviously something that's going to be pretty important. So you can see here, I'm just going to pause the game once again. There we go. Let me pause the game properly. Wonderful. So yeah, as you can see, we do have the woodcutter. No person working there right now, but I'm actually going to make this guy work there, I think, because he has 5 in trade. I think that seems relatively decent. As you can see, we have an efficiency of 45%. Technically, our goblin has an efficiency of 90%, but the building as a whole has efficiency of 45% because we only have one person working there. If you have multiple people working there, then of course you're going to have a higher efficiency. But initially, you have a very limited amount of the number of goblins you have available. So it is very much recommended to just have one goblin on each structure. At least that has been what I've kind of gathered from my time with the game. Anyway, we're going to get Roy here. He's going to be one of our haulers, who's going to be the guy that runs around, picks up resources and takes it to other places. And bear in mind that and all the goblins can actually do the most basic things, but they are going to not be able to do more specialist jobs. In other words, they won't be able to craft weapons unless you assign people to craft weapons and so on. So you're going to need to be a little bit aware of that. Make sure that everyone is doing the job that you need them to do. And here we go. We have our Grand Hall now built. And now we're going to be able to go to our breeding area. And we are going to be able to assign some people to breed with our main chief here. Now, goblins can inherit various traits from the parents. So basically what you can do is, if I were to make this peon into a breeding partner for our clan chief, the traits immunity and berserker might be passed on to the children. But the main problem with berserker is, as you can see here, the goblin has less hit points but does more damage and is much more aggressive. So now here's the problem with being aggressive. If a goblin is aggressive, they can get very frustrated very quickly, and their mental state can deteriorate very fast, and as a result they can possibly riot. And in doing so, I actually had a goblin that went on a riot and killed one other goblin for their tool, because the goblin that rioted had no tool and was upset by this, and so they went on a killing spree, and, well, not really a spree, but they killed one of the other goblins and then was finally stopped by someone else. But that is something to bear in mind if you're actually going to be breeding someone that potentially has the berserker trait. So for me personally, I'm not going to do that. I am, however, going to be using this one over here because I'd like to have a couple of extra faith-based goblins, because I'm hoping that we'll be maybe able to get a couple of shaman and a couple of priests out here as well, because shaman have a very specific use. Yeah, I should actually pause the game real quick because I need to get the kindler installed as well as the warrens. Where are the warrens? There are the warrens. Okay, fantastic. Let's build this. And warrens are basically like houses. They're basically like houses from other colony games, and so it's basically going to increase your maximum population cap, because at the moment I have a maximum population of 12, and if I have a warren, that's going to increase it by 6. So that really makes a huge difference. You can see here that there's also a happiness meter, and at the moment our goblins are overjoyed, but of course that's not going to remain that way for much longer. You know, they're going to reduce in over time, unless you are able to give them things that they want very, very badly, and you're going to need to do that. Anyway, thankfully we are right next to a berry tree here. Sometimes you're not actually going to be that close to the food. And same thing with being close to the stone here as well, because you can see here that there's a rock pile. And the world is quite magical to a certain extent, so you're going to see these kinds of things where there's just floating rocks every so often. But there are much better locations to gain rocks and stone at these locations here. This particular portion here is raw stone. You can build a stone mine on this, and then you can mine the stone out of it. Same thing with over here. This is also an iron formation, so you're going to need iron as well to be able to craft more advanced tools. Thankfully, my tribe doesn't seem to be that far away from the stone and the iron deposits. I had a game beforehand where I was so far away that my goblins had to literally run across the entirety of the map to be able to get there. And that was obviously very uncomfortable, considering the amount of skeletons and undead minions that wanted to feast upon our goblin flesh, which was obviously not particularly nice. But yes, anyway, let's see what we can do here. I think Maverick is probably going to be relatively good, although, never mind, it seems like Maverick might actually be better as a faith job. Right, okay, so Kellish is going to be our crafter then. See, that's the thing about this. I'm actually thinking that maybe I will want to put 2 people as the crafters, because I always feel as though I'm lacking in crafting, but maybe I shouldn't do that. I need to get a kindler, to be honest. I think getting a kindler is probably going to be kind of useful for us here, so just going to connect the buildings here. You can see that the walkways that we have available here increases goblin movement speed, so you can see that when they travel from building to building, they are inevitably going to be able to move faster as a result of the walkways being present there, which is obviously going to make a pretty big difference. All right, so otherwise we have the people cutting down the wood. I have we're building the warrens. The warrens are going to take quite a significant amount more time. I should probably prioritize scavenging and harvesting logs from these trees here, to be honest. That would probably be a pretty good idea. So let's actually just prioritize those. You can prioritize these as well. We basically just want them picking up things from over here, because the travel time of going from here to here is basically 0 almost. And so it's a lot better for them to do that, for them to do over here, rather than go all the way over to the woodcutting hut. But the woodcutting hut is going to be the more reliable supply of wood. And so that's obviously going to make a huge difference, because you can see here that this is a new trees will appear around this elder resource at the start of spring. In other words, you have these trees here, and they are numerous, massive amounts of them in actual fact. So you should have a pretty easy time there. Otherwise, apart from that, we do need to take a look and see what else we have here. We have a trade hall. Oh yes, we do need a lumber mill as well. However, at the moment, you can see here the numbers at the top of the screen in red. They are the thing that is currently being required or demanded by our buildings and the various things that we need to construct. So it's obviously much more important for us to get those things done than it is for us to continue building stuff. So I'm just going to leave everything the way it is right now, and I'm just going to speed the game up a little bit and see what happens with it. I really do need to get a lumber mill, though. It's going to be extremely important for us to get that going, but I just don't have enough wood as it is to be able to even turn logs into planks. So there's basically no point in me constructing the lumber mill right now, especially considering we don't even have the warrens built yet either. We are going to need that to be constructed relatively soon, because we are getting more babies born every single year. There's one born every single year, unless you increase your breeding capacity, or should we say increase your breeding speed. And the more, the happier that your goblins are, the better they're going to breed, of course, as you might expect. So that's obviously going to be quite important. Otherwise, I think, the kindler is now done, actually. Oh, okay, that's actually kind of nice. Okay, let's just put someone on that. We need the kindler for a very specific reason, because this is firewood, of course, and the closer we get to winter, the more important it's going to be to actually heat your buildings. Because if you don't heat your buildings, then your goblins are inevitably going to be extremely irritated, and they're actually going to plummet in happiness levels. And so those happiness levels are going to be very detrimental to your overall success. And then the undead are going to come, and then they're going to be like, oh, you don't have any firewood? Well, that's perfectly understandable. And then they're going to go nom on our brains, and it's going to be terrible. They're not zombies, they are skeletons, but still, the point stands. Anyway, we should be absolutely fine. And hopefully, yeah, there we go. The warrens are now built, which is absolutely perfect. And now we can actually start to accrue a couple more resources, as you can see right here. You need to deliver 7 rocks around your village, 10 logs, but we're actually doing that quite nicely. Is the kindler now? Yeah, the kindler is now doing things as well, which is quite nice. And we need bones as well to be able to craft basic weapons, but that's not that necessary at the moment. And bones are available from skeletons, as you might expect. So we're actually going to be placing this building. Can I place it over here? No, I'm getting pretty unlucky with the placement, actually, but let's just place it around there, I suppose. Doesn't really matter that much. And yeah, so, okay. Let me show you around the map a little bit while the game runs by itself and gives us a bit more progression. So you can see here, look at this. This is a magical crystal of some kind, and you need shaman to be able to harvest the juju. I have no idea what juju is for just yet. I guess I can actually have a look at it. Aha! This is used to cast god spells. Okay, so that's obviously going to be really important. As far as I'm aware, shaman are an extremely, very crucial class, because what they will do is any goblin that is assigned to that job is going to be able to clear gravestones. And you can see there's actually a gravestone right there, and you can mark it for cleansing. However, you're going to need a shaman to be able to do that. And once you mark it for cleansing, it's going to, the goblin in question is going to move over there. He's going to cleanse the gravestone, and then hopefully no undead are going to spawn from that particular location. And that is going to make a huge difference in itself, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's going to make a huge difference. Anyway, everyone seems to be doing pretty nicely here. I might actually want to get the trade hall going once this is done. Yeah, as you can see, we just need a couple more logs. That shouldn't be too bad. We've already taken down 2 of these trees here. We just have a couple more trees on this one. I'm actually going to prioritize the harvesting and scavenging on this particular one, and they'll go ahead and do that. And it is recommended, by the way, to keep a couple of peons remaining. Because as you can see, peons gather basic resources such as berries, sticks, and rocks, as well as transport resources and construct buildings. Make sure to always have enough peons free. Very important. If you have less than 3, you're going to have some issues and things are going to slow down dramatically around your village. I actually had a game that I was playing earlier where I was testing out a couple of other build orders and a couple of other, styles of playing, a couple of other different maps and everything, because there's so much you can do in the game with all the different maps and biomes and all that stuff. And I was just testing some stuff out, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to try and see what happens if I build really, really quickly and I assign all my goblins to all the different jobs. And let me just tell you, well, if I had no peons, nothing actually happens. It actually stops. It goes to a standstill, basically. Every single action that your goblins take is dramatically slowed because of that. So highly recommended to make sure that you have at least 3 to 4 peons, at least. And I'm talking about the more peons that you have, the better, of course. Really is very important. And otherwise, we're going to be, I think, assigning... Oh, I don't really want to assign any of these people to this. I guess we'll assign this one. And let's just do that. There we go. Oh, yeah. So, by the way, if you want to take a look at your goblins, and I'd highly recommend doing that some of the time. So, if you take a look here, you can actually select one of them, and you can see absolutely every single thing that you would ever want to know about a goblin. And you can actually track them as well. So, if you want to follow them around and see where they're going and everything, then you can, of course, do that. You can even zoom in all the way, as you can see. You can zoom literally as close as you'd like, and you can have a look at where they're going. So, for example, if I want to track this goblin, where is this goblin? Wait a minute. If I go here, wait a minute, where is he? There he is. Okay, so as you can see, we're just following this guy around. You can see exactly what's going on with him. He's got good warmth, good happiness. His respect is relatively decent, and at the moment, he is transporting logs, which is absolutely perfect. It also tells you the goblin's current age, and as you can see, they live to around the age of 35. Yeah, they're very short-lived little creatures, which is actually kind of sad, but, it's going to happen eventually at some point. And then you can, of course, see their stats. You can see the log of what they've currently done, and you can see the amount of items that they currently have on them, and so on. So everything's very highly simulated. You can see absolutely every single thing that you'd want from every single one of your goblins. And yeah, we're no doubt going to be attacked relatively soon by some undead, but hopefully not too soon. Okay, so we've got scavenger. Okay, so we've got a scavenger hut. I should probably build that. I do need planks for that though. And as you can see, we might not even have any planks right now. No, we have 0 planks. Not sure what my lumberjack is currently doing. I hope that he's actually going to start doing something there. I'm a bit worried about it, to be honest. I'm a bit worried about it. Not sure how easily that's going to work, but I'd like to get the scavenger hut up and running as soon as possible. But maybe I should get the trade hall first. So let's just get the trade hall. Let's put that round about there. It doesn't really matter where we put it, I don't think. But yeah, once we have the trade hall up and running, then I will start building the other thing. And hopefully by that time, the lumber mill will actually have produced some planks. At the moment, it only has an efficiency of 30%. So I'm actually thinking of putting another peon on that. But as I've said before, having less than 3 peons, maybe not the best idea. It's going to be a little bit difficult for anything to really happen then. However, a scavenger hut is extremely important for a variety of reasons. For example, there is a creature den over here, and you can see that goblins assigned to the scavenger's hut can collect frogs from this location as a luxury food source, and that generally makes your goblins much, much happier. So that is something to bear in mind. Otherwise, apart from that, your goblins that are born, they take around 3 in-game years to mature. So if you have if you have a birth every single year, then it will take 3 years for from the start at least for a goblin to mature. And as you can see, there is actually a new one. Pettifog is his name, has now just come of age, and now we have 1 extra peon, as you can see. So now they're going to go out into the workforce, and they're obviously going to be helping us out however they like. and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Because now, every single year, as long as we continue to have one goblin per year, we will now be gaining adults. And that is going to exponentially increase the efficiency of our clan, and everything is going to work out much, much better for us. So hopefully that's going to work. As it stands right now, I'm a little bit worried about the amount of wood we're getting. So I'm thinking we're going to put another person on that. We'll put Petty Fog on that. And as you can see, we now have 75% efficiency at this building. And I'm going to speed things up a little bit more as well. And hopefully that's going to make a significant difference to how we are able to produce our resources. Because I think the main thing we're lacking right now is not really stone. It's actually wood. As you can see, logs are really, really scarce right now. So I'm actually thinking that it would probably be a good idea to put some more people on that. We could, of course, priority scavenge this stuff if we wanted to. But yeah, I don't know. It's about the same. It's about the same distance anyway, so it's not really that big a deal. But we are going to get attacked by the undead relatively soon, as far as I can tell. And so that is obviously going to be a pretty big deal. There is a massive button down here called the Defend the Village button. And basically, you just put all your people in defense mode. Every single goblin goes and hides. And then your clan chief or your king, they patrol around and they do all kinds of things. And, you know, they basically kill undead without really taking too much damage. So that's very nice and very, very crucial in actual fact. Anyway, let's take a look at the scavenger hut here. So I'm going to need planks for this. We only have 2 in actual fact. Okay, I was actually hoping that we had a bit more than that. But yeah, hopefully we might get some more. I think, yeah, this guy's working a little bit too slowly for my liking, but I can't really say anything to him, to be honest. Because he's gonna riot then, isn't he? He's gonna riot. Okay, so the trade hall is now completed, and we can now create our trade prince. I guess Maverick's going to be our trade prince right there. And the trade prince is a council member residing over all matters of wealth. The trade hall allows you to access the job priorities panel, where you can set jobs for each individual goblin in the village. This building will also allow you to barter with the traveling merchant during spring. So that's obviously really important. You can see here is the job priority. And you can see exactly what you need them to do and what you want them to do and so on. So generally this is a really good idea. You can see their skill in it as well. So you can see exactly what you want them to prioritize and what you don't want them to prioritize. So for example, we could see the peons currently don't have an exceptional, I mean, this guy certainly doesn't have an exceptional amount of trade stat, which is definitely affecting things quite dramatically. But we can't, I don't really want to replace any of the others because they're all doing relatively important jobs. And while peons are definitely important, they're certainly not, in my opinion at least, they're maybe not as important as, for example, the lumberjack or the woodcutters or something along those lines. And you can't really decide whether trade skill is prioritized or anything like that. But hopefully we're going to be able to get some more planks. Can we get some more planks? Yeah, it's just taking a long time for us to get any of these logs cut, because it does take a long time for our goblins to run from one side to the other. But we're getting more babies born, which is absolutely perfect. And as you can see, the first undead horde wave will rise soon. So that's obviously something to be very careful of. And I'm going to assume that they're going to come from these 3 gravestones. There are 3 gravestones right near to us, actually pretty close to the frog pool as well. I'm actually thinking, shall we priority scavenge this? Can we actually scavenge this right now? I'm actually not entirely sure if we can even scavenge it without the scavenger hut. I don't think that's actually possible, but oh well, never mind. Let's just build the scavenger hut right here. I think I need to build it relatively close, and let's prioritize the construction on that. And hopefully we're going to be able to build, or should we say, provide the extra planks. And I'm thinking that the next time we have an adult goblin rank up, or should we say a small goblin rank up, we might be able to put someone else on the lumberjack here so that we still have 3 peons. As I've said before though, generally only having 3 peons is not a good idea. You need as many of them as you can. But that's the thing. You need to continue progressing as much as you possibly can too, because otherwise you're going to be having some big problems. And here we go. Winter is about to arrive. This is actually really bad because we really don't have a lot of firewood, as you can see here. And you need to deliver 59 firewood around your village. Yeah, that's going to be kind of harsh, isn't it? That is going to be kind of harsh. Not sure how we can really do that, but you can see here that the scavenger hut, prioritizing the construction on that, it's really working quite nicely, but unfortunately, yeah, it's looking pretty bad right now, actually. So let me just see if I can prioritize the harvesting of all of this stuff. Aha, we are now being attacked by the skeletons, as you can tell by that sound. And so, yeah, and it also tells you that the second wave will rise soon as well. So we're going to have to take a look and see exactly what's going on. Where are the skeletons coming from? We're going to see very soon. I think, is that one? No, that's one of our goblins. Okay, that's one of our goblins. Okay, don't worry about that, sir. Just continue on your merry way. Hopefully you will not be attacked relatively soon. Okay, they've now begun their attack. Let us see. There we go. Okay, so we could see the undead, as you can see, by those massive red skulls above their heads. We know exactly where they're coming from, and hopefully our chief is going to be able to attack them. I will not be going into defensive mode, okay? Usually it's a really good idea to go into defensive mode because you want to make sure that all of your goblins survive. Because let's face it, if you lose one goblin, that's basically setting you back an entire year. Because of course you only have one goblin birth per year, and they only become adults every single year as well from that time onwards. So you're basically setting yourself back a huge amount. So that's the reason why generally it's a good idea to do defensive mode, but I'm actually not doing that because I kind of want to... Okay, let's do defensive. There we go. Ooh, that was close. Okay. Yeah, that was certainly not something I anticipated. I thought to myself, okay, my king is going to do a relatively good job. There's our king, as you can see, doing absolutely amazingly. But unfortunately, one of my goblins almost got killed, as you could see, and I had to very quickly enable the defensive mode. I just really wanted to avoid all of my production being stopped for the sake of 2 skeletons. But unfortunately, my king wasn't in a particularly good position. I cannot tell them where to go individually. I cannot say to them, oh yes, please go over here, please go over there. No, I can't say that. They are all doing what they want to do, and they are not listening to me at all. They basically do what they want to do, and we kind of direct them very indirectly, if you know what I mean. So there's no direct control over your goblins, but that's absolutely fine. Unfortunately, this guy is looking pretty bad. As you can see, his health is really, really low. So that's kind of harsh. Not sure if there's a way to heal him. I think there is. I think we need priests. I think we need priests to be able to do that. Ah, here we go. We have our scavengers. So we're going to get this guy on the scavenger here. Let's get another scavenger here as well. Whoa, this guy is looking... Whoa, he's got some crazy traits. Oh, he's actually gotten lower hit points as well. That's hilarious. Okay, well, let's just put him on there as well. And as you can see, our efficiency is actually very, very good. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get some frogs because, as you can see, 5 goblins, 8 frogs. So let's hopefully get some more frogs, shall we? Before the second wave of undead starts creeping towards us. That would be wonderful. That would be very, very nice. Okay, so we do have stone mines also to do. Blacksmith, as you can see, iron, pigsty, brewery, butcher, and workshop. They're all available to us as well. And we also have burrows available too. So burrows, basically what they do is, it's kind of like a fast travel system. Also, if you want to go to war and you want to have the ability to unlock trekking in the world map. So, for example, if you go to the world map, yeah, I can't currently do that right now, but you need the trade hall, the faith hall, and the war hall to be built. You can send trek parties to scout for points of interest, which then allows you to raid settlements and dungeons, trade with other races, or go on a pilgrimage to holy sites for faith and juju. So you can do a wide variety of goblin-based things, and if you want to raid other clans and raid human settlements and so on, then you can of course do that. But if you are a more friendly kind of goblin, then you don't have to do that, and you can just trade with people and so on and so forth. That all seems very cool to me. However, it does have a very high cost, or at least in my opinion, it has a pretty high cost at the moment, because you're going to need to build this, which is the war hall, and you need iron and stone to be able to do it. Unfortunately, I have no iron and I have very little stone, so that is obviously not particularly good. Otherwise, you have the war hall right here, or shall we say the watchtower right about here, and this assigns goblins to become town watchers to defend the village. And technically, I could afford to do this, and maybe it would be a good idea to do this actually. Let's put this roundabout here. I think that seems like a decent location for it, kind of like a little bottleneck for us there as well, and that's looking pretty nice. Otherwise, we have a barracks here, so that allows goblins to become warriors. We have a guard tower. They can become guards, of course. You also have a warg den right here too, which is actually really cool because it allows goblins to tame wild wargs. Tamed wargs will defend the village in exchange for meat. Obviously, where do you get meat from? The pigsty. So if you have a pigsty, then you're going to be able to build the warg den, and then you can hopefully get wargs, and you can have your goblins ride wargs potentially. So that would be really fantastic. Otherwise, you have the Faith Hall, as you might expect. You have the Temple, which allows goblins to become priests. This can clear corpses, so if any of your goblins die, then obviously you can have them to clear the corpses. You can heal goblins, and you can gain faith for the god assigned to the temple. In my opinion, it would probably be a good idea to construct this temple relatively soon, but we don't have a huge amount of stone as it is, and I kind of want to make sure that my watchtower is built first. We also have a number of items on the floor here that have been dropped. These are bones. So obviously, this is going to be kind of useful for basic weapons. You can actually create basic weapons out of bones. You can create daggers and things like that, but of course you primarily want to get the blacksmith. You really do want to get the blacksmith because then you can actually start getting advanced tools and weapons instead of the basic ones that you have available. But you're going to need an iron source for it. Yes, you're going to need an iron source for it. So of course, it has all of the standard progression that you might expect from a sim colony builder. And so here we go. Aha, the second undead wave is now coming in, and you can see here that we do have the potential to put someone on the town watch. I'm not sure if we really want to put anyone here, to be honest. Can only be assigned to war jobs. Oh, okay, that's actually pretty interesting. Okay, yeah, let's put him on there. We only have 2 peons, unfortunately, but hopefully we're going to get another one ranking up relatively soon. And we still are not getting any frogs. I'm not sure why we're not getting any frogs, but I'm hopeful that... Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to just disable this. I'm going to disable these two so that they don't actually go anywhere else. It seems like he's going to the bone pile. Not sure why he'd go to the bone pile. Not a big fan of that, but they are going to get weapons from it. And they can construct weapons from it. So that might be kind of useful. As you can see, we do actually have 4 basic weapons, and it gives goblins +3 damage as a base, which is actually very good. So I'm thinking, you know what? That's actually not even bad. But you can see here we're being attacked. Is this our king right here? Yep, this is our king. So you can see here our king is very much on the ball this time around. And they are now going in and attacking the skeletons. Should be pretty easy because the king has a massive amount of HP, as you can see, and does do a lot of damage. So I'm very, very pleased that the king is out there already. And you can see here, boom, there we go. Last defeated. Wonderful. Very nice indeed. There we are. Okay, so that's perfect. So that also means that we've gotten some more bones here too, which of course now means that we can create even more weapons and we can be even more damaging the next time some more undead come in. And you never know, you might even get raided by some humans as well as elves or dwarves or, you know, whatever. I haven't personally been attacked by any of those races. I've only been attacked by the undead so far, but I'm actually very much dreading the moment when that will happen, because no doubt it's going to happen sometime soon. Anyway, very much hoping that these guys are going to continue getting some bones and some frogs. They seem to not really be doing that much, which is a little bit strange. Not sure why they wouldn't do that. But maybe I should just... I don't know, maybe I should just enable them again or something like that. Because it seems like they're going over here for some reason. I don't know why they're going over here instead of going over to the frog pond. I'd much prefer the frog pond, to be honest. But yes, anyway, our goblin mood is now kind of teetering between happy and overjoyed. So I'm very much hoping that they're going to be a little bit happier when we get back into spring, because obviously spring is certainly when things are going to pick up speed a little bit more, because winter is obviously when things are not looking too good. Oh yeah, that actually... oh yeah, I'm stupid. Okay. I just remembered. Winter, frogs are not actually available in winter, as you might expect. Yeah, frogs disappear during winter, but will reappear at the start of spring. That is the reason why my people are not scavenging any frogs. Yes, so I'm a bit of an imbecile, so my apologies, but at least we realized it before it was too late. Yes, indeed. Anyway, we're getting a huge amount of logs right now as well, which is actually very nice. And I do need to get some more in the kindler. I'm not sure what... wait a minute, where's our kindler? Not sure what Jasila is doing. Hopefully getting some more kindling done, because it seems like the winter is taking a huge toll on us right now. And you can see that we need a massive amount to be able to produce the warmth that we require. But it seems as though we're not really losing any of our goblins to freezing, so I'm actually pretty happy with that. And the traveling merchant will be visiting soon. Okay, that's going to be interesting. I have no idea what's even going to be going on there, but anyway, collect stones, collect rocks, collect sticks. I don't actually want them to do anything, to be honest. I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, we can collect berries, I guess. I mean, they're all doing all of this, to be honest. The merchant is not yet here. As you can see, the merchant is not currently visiting, but will be very soon. Let's speed up the game and see what happens. There we go. Okay, the merchant will open negotiations soon. Very, very soon. Okay, now the snow is, of course, going to melt away, and then the frogs will start to come back to the pond, and hopefully we're going to get some of them to increase our happiness once more. Although, to be fair, they're already looking overjoyed, so that's pretty fine. Anyway, as you can see right here, we can now sell some stuff. Yes, so I obviously have 0 gold right now, which is obviously a bit of an issue. But maybe I'll be able to sell some stuff. Maybe I should have gone mining for some iron or something, because obviously selling iron might be pretty good. Yeah, this is not looking particularly good. I could sell some bones. That might actually be relatively decent. I mean, you can see here I can get some gold from that, and I can actually buy some other things as a result of it. So, for example, I could buy some berries, even though I don't need to do that specifically. But what I could do is buy some planks. I'm thinking we might buy some planks. I don't want to sell planks. I want to buy planks. So let's buy some planks. Let's buy a couple. Let's just give away quite a few bones. Let's do, I don't know, let's do 20 bones, because we have a bone pile relatively close to us. So let's otherwise buy a bunch of planks. Let's get, I don't know, 12. I don't really mind, to be honest, because you can use the merchant at any time, as you can see right here. So you don't really, doesn't really matter how many times you do that or not. But I'd like to get a couple more planks. So we have 22 planks now, which is quite nice. And that means that I might be able to construct a stone mine. And if I can get a stone mine going, then we might have an even better shot at getting some more buildings up and running. Oh yeah, actually that actually brings me to the next point. I need to get a well. I need to get a well up and running. So let's actually do that right there. A well is, of course, required to put out fires in your tribe village. And that's going to be very, very important. Oh yes, we need the weaver. Assign goblins to weave cloth and warm clothes. Do I have enough? Yes, I do. Look at that. Oh, that's surprising. Who would have expected that? Not me. All right, so yeah, let's do something like this. There we go. Now, unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, they're going to need to go all the way. This is a herb plant. I don't think that is where they need to go to be able to get cloth. I think they need cotton, don't they? I think they need cotton or something like that. So I'm not sure where that would be. Over here, hemp. Might be hemp. I'm not entirely sure about that. Yeah, it's been a long time since I have actually tried to even create clothes. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see when that happens, when it's actually constructed. But we do have enough planks to be able to make that work, which is really, really nice. And do I have enough tools? Yeah, I have more than enough tools, which is very cool too. As you can see, we need 2 cloth. 2 goblins want 2 cloth. And we could also build a stone mine and an iron mine if we want to do that. Or we could just go for the iron mine straight away. Maybe it would be a good idea to go for the iron mine straight away, to be honest. We're going to need rocks for that, though. But we do have a rock deposit very close by to us, but unfortunately, it might be a little bit low. I don't know. It seems like we have... No, we actually have quite a few. Look at that. We have a load of rocks nearby. Okay, let's actually priority scavenge this stuff. Let's priority scavenge all of that. Thank you very much. That's going to be really important. Okay, yeah, so let's just go for the iron mine straight away then. Boom, there we go. You can only construct it on these iron ore deposits here. You cannot place it anywhere closer to your village. So your little goblins are going to have to run pretty far distances to be able to make it there, which is kind of sad, but, you know, can't do much about that. And as you can see, we have frogs available, so hopefully we're going to be getting some more frogs. Not sure why we're not... I don't know why we're not picking them up, but apparently we're not. There's herbs. This is used to craft beer, medicine, and pigs. Hemp is used to craft cloth. And you can see here, this is where the hemp is. So we can actually priority scavenge that as well. So maybe we can get some people to run over there. Not sure how effective that's going to be, but I do need to build another warren relatively soon as well. So I should probably do that too. Let me see now. Where's the warren? It's here somewhere. There we go. All right. Yeah, that should be perfectly fine too. Let's build that roundabout there. Wonderful. Yes, okay. Yeah, so everything seems to be going pretty nicely, all things considered, and we just need to wait for more goblins to be born. We need to, wait for them to rank up, to age up, and so on and so forth. And then from there, then we can make things happen. We can start making things happen. Oh, look at this. We actually have 10 hemp available, so I can actually craft, potentially, once the weaver is built, which only needs some rocks. Unfortunately, rocks are little bit lacking right now, but hopefully we will be able to gain some more. And I'm going to actually prioritize the construction on the weaver here as well, but you can see that we already have enough hemp to be able to do this, so I don't even need to prioritize this thing over here, I don't think. So I'm actually just going to randomly just say, do whatever you want with that. I'd like to get some more frogs though, if at all possible, please. But that's not really going to make our goblins much happier because they're not actually wanting that anymore. They do want cloth though, so hopefully we'll do something with them and hopefully get a decent result from it. And I'm not sure why they're not picking up this. I'd like them to pick up this stuff, please. There we go. Let's just pick that up. There we go. Because we want to clean that up a little bit, please. Thank you very much. Not sure who's going to pick that up, to be honest, but yeah, there we go. Okay, so the traveling merchant has now obviously run away. We're no longer able to trade with him or anything like that. We're actually in year 9. That's pretty good. All right. Kind of happy about that. One of the times that I actually played, I did have some big issues, as I said, with rioting, and that one guy went on that killing spree, and we also had a number of problems with the winter as well, because I didn't have enough firewood, but for some reason I was actually doing okay this time. I actually survived that pretty easily, and we now also have the ability to build this iron mine, and then we can continue to expand. Ah, the weaver is now complete. Fantastic. I have 4 peons, so let's actually have this guy go on the weaver here. Not sure if this is going to be a good idea because he is a berserker, so he might have a lower frustration, tolerance, and we might have some issues with him. He might actually go and start attacking people, but hopefully not. That's all I can say. Anyway, hopefully he's going to be able to construct 2 cloth, and then our goblins are going to be super pleased with that. Maybe he's doing it. He's doing it. Maybe that's enough. They're saying they don't have a need for the cloth any further, so maybe he's... Yeah, look at that. They actually did it. Fantastic. So I actually have no idea what is even going to happen with the cloth. It gives goblins plus 10 trek carry. Okay. It's used to construct buildings and craft wagons. I'm going to assume that is required for the trekking function. And unfortunately, I still do not have enough to be able to take a look at the world map because we're going to need to build the Faith Hall and the War Hall as well. The Faith Hall is actually potentially close by, but we are going to need iron. As you can see, we're still almost there for the iron mine. Shouldn't be too bad for us. But this is basically what the Goblins of Elderstone is all about. It is about maintaining your survival, trying your hardest to get your goblins into the best possible situations, and our goblin warrens are near capacity. Yes, I do realize that. I'm trying my hardest to get this other warren built, and that's the reason why you need as many peons as possible, because they're going to be the ones that will actually transport your things and construct buildings for you. So be wary of that. Otherwise, if you would like to check out the game, there is a link in the description. It has just released. And so, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.